Number 9 is your favourite genre to read, and that one's quite hard as well because I actually like a lot of different genres. I think time-wise though, the genre that I've liked the longest is children's fiction. That's everything picture books, middle grade, all different genres. I've got lots of random stuff in the shelf. I also like fantasy. I'm picky about my fantasy, but I love fantasy. And I also love historical fiction, specifically set during World War One and World War Two, which feels like the 9th time I've said that today. I'm sorry. And I also love nature writing and travel writing. Yeah. Question 10 is your least favourite genre. That's kind of hands down horror. I think I've only read a few horror in my life. I got given a box of Goosebumps books when I was about 9 or 10, I'm not sure, by one of my mum's friends at the pub. And I was like, I proper challenged myself to read all of them. I was like, I've been given this massive box of books. I've never seen so many books in my life. I'm going to read every single one. And I had nightmares for weeks. I was just like, I just couldn't deal with it at all. And I never told my mum why I was having nightmares. I had to have music playing while I went to sleep and hot chocolate and all sorts of things. We tried everything to stop these nightmares and it wouldn't stop. And it was all because I was reading these books and dreaming awful things from these books. And I never told my mum why. I was too scared to because she would have told me, it's your own fault, Lily. But I actually needed her comfort, so I was like, no, never telling her. So yeah, next question. Question 11. One difficult or important book that you're proud to have read. This one's really hard, and I think my choice of book for this one, I didn't actually read it, but I'm proud of attempting to read it, if that counts, is Clarissa by Samuel Richardson. We had to study this second year of uni at Bath Spa, and I'm dyslexic and I find reading difficult texts really hard. It takes me a long time to process that kind of information, and I can read an entire page and nothing can go in. It's just like whatever. So I really struggled with this book, and I knew I would struggle with this book, and I knew it would take me more than a year to read the thing. So I didn't try. Instead, what I did was I googled the hell out of this book. I found plot summaries, I found chapter by chapter summaries, I researched so much about this book. I can tell you the entire story bit by bit with quotes. But I did not read this book. And I did get a B on my essay, so I'm very proud of that, because I think if you can get a B at year 2 uni for an essay on a book you didn't read, I think you've done well. So that's why I'm proud. Because, yeah, prove you don't have to read a book to know a lot about it. Anyway, or write about it, or talk about it. But yeah, so Clarissa, any Bath Spa people, I feel your pain. Question number 12 is your favourite childhood books. I think that might have been book, but I can't remember and I don't want to Google it. So I've got 4 books. Yay! The first one is Journey to the River Sea by Ava Ibbotson. This book I just adore. And it's one I want to reread actually, because it's another book like Harry Potter that I haven't actually read since I was a child. But so much of my bookish love is wrapped in this book as like my foundation. This is about little girl Maya, who she begins off in a boarding school in England, but I think her father dies. It's very kind of similar to The Little Princess. And she is sent to live with her estranged cousins in the Amazon, in a place called Manos, I think? Manas? I can't remember. And it's wonderful. It's got like circus and lots of animals and a runaway boy and adventures into the jungle and awful, horrible, typical kind of like twin cousins who are just awful to you. That feels like a trope from somewhere, but I don't know what it is. Oh, wicked stepsisters. There we go. Knew I'd get it. Another one is My Family and Other Animals by Gerald Durrell. This is part memoir, part fiction. I think he kind of wove he exaggerated a lot. It's about Gerald, or Jerry, when he was a little boy, his family moved out to Corfu, and he's a kind of budding zoologist. He just loves animals, collects animals everywhere. His house is covered in them, and his family are quite fun and interesting, and the dynamic is great. So this book I read millions of times. I love this book, and I've loved every adaptation of it on TV as well, and films and things. So heartily recommend this if you haven't read it. My other childhood favourite was Thief Lord by Cornelia Funke. This is about two brothers who run away to Venice and join a band of street kids who are asked by a mysterious Conte to steal something. And it's great fun. This is one of the first books that I read after Journey to the River Sea, that was set in another country again. This book has words in Italian and things like that, and it was just like my childhood brain exploded. I was like, other languages? Ah! So I loved it. It's great fun. There's kind of magical realism going on in this book, and I think this is one of Cornelia Funke's best books. I adore it, and it's a book I still adore. I found with Cornelia Funke that rereading her books is quite difficult because I don't love them as much as I did when I was a child. I see a lot more of the flaws and things in her writing, but this book just stays shiny and wonderful, so yes. Last one is Beyond the Deepwoods by Chris Riddell and Paul Stewart, and I bought this book because it has this sticker in the corner which says if you like Harry Potter you will like this one, and I think 7-year-old me was like, yes! So I read it, and it's nothing at all like Harry Potter. I don't know where they get that comparison from. It's about Twig, who's this kid who grows up with trolls in a forest in this really cool place that has a really cool map. Look at that map. Hey! And one day he strays off the path like he's told not to his entire childhood, and he ends up lost and meets all these monsters. And Chris Riddell, if you don't know, he's a really famous illustrator in the UK. He's the Children's Laureate currently, and his drawing, look how cool! He can create all kinds of monsters and weird fun. It's just great. So there's a whole series, they're all here. And these are great books. Next question is favourite book cover ever. This one was really hard. So these were books that I think I just had a look around my room and I was like, where are they? And I thought, oh, that one jumps out at me and that one there, so I just plucked them. So the first one is Madigan's Fantasia, because look at that, it's amazing. It's got this wonderful matte cover, it's kind of textured as well, and circus, and I love this book, and even the back's pretty, like, got these little corner things. Love it. Another one's The Vanishing Act by Mette Jakobsen. The book's not so great, but the cover is beautiful, and it's got a lighthouse and shiny bits, and I love matte covers, they're just so nice to touch. This one is another Chris Riddell illustration. It says Island by Nikki Singer, and I just love the simplicity of this. It's just, and there's lots of illustrations all the way through by Chris Riddell as well, and Chris Riddell just read it, I think he had a proof or something, and he was like, I'd like to illustrate this, so he did, and I love that he does that, it's great. So yeah, great book. Next one is Cartowitch, which I've also talked about recently, but look how pretty that cover is. It's got a kind of artsiness to it. It looks almost like charcoal and colouring pencils, and I love it. And it's got cool little splatters. I love books that are artsy and simple, you know, sometimes less is more. It's great. Question 14 is an ugly book cover. Well, I had a lot to choose from, but this one stands out because I love Lee Young Lee. I love him. It's like my favourite poet ever. But this cover is awful. I know I get the kind of symbolism because his poems are a lot about like peaches and persimmons and fruit and things. But this is just ugly. This is just I hate this cover so much. Yeah. Question 15 is a diverse book recommendation. This is the only book I'm gonna recommend because it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Diversity in all the kind of forms, like, and just so naturally done, and so just this is how you do diversity. This is how you do it. It's got characters of colour, different races, and there's even like created races. And they have been like, they've adapted to the land they live in, so it's like scientifically plausible. It's so good. Different kinds of relationships. You've got LGBTQA, you've got a polygamous relationship, different ages, different, oh man, this book is great. Go read this book. Oh, my pile's gonna fall over. Question 16 is, why do you love to read? Why do I love to read? Why does anyone love to read? Because reading opens your mind to everything, and to imagination, and just takes you away from reality, and I love reading. I love reading. That's not really an answer, I'm sorry. I think reading's really, really important to, I think, oh man, I think reading has been important to me my whole life, and why I read, it's just an ingrained thing I have to do. I did spend quite a long time at college where I didn't read, and late secondary school, because I got so much kind of bullied about reading, and it had a very negative view of it at one point. It was something I so badly wanted to do all the time, but I felt like the pressure around me was like, why would you do that? Why? And it wasn't cool, and you know, kids are just, kids are horrible sometimes. So I stopped, and it took me a while to get back into it. But I always clung on to this love of books. Like, I'd have my books on my shelves, and I'd just be like, they were the nicest part of my room. And I think I got more into writing than reading, because of that. I wanted to create my own books because this was something I could hide away and keep to myself. Nobody else needed to see it. Nobody else could judge me on it. So I think reading is important for so many reasons. I just can't fathom an answer, so I'm sorry. My book pile has now fallen over, so I need to go tidy it up and put books back where they belong and with their friends. So happy reading, and let me know if you read any of these books, or you have the same feelings that I do, or if you don't, maybe you like Clarissa. I'd love to hear if you do. Thank you for watching, if you've watched this whole video, and thank you to Charlie for tagging me. It's been quite interesting and fun to do, and I'm sorry this video has got darker all the way through. I didn't count on the sun disappearing.